Hi, welcome back to the channel Built by Ben. So 3 months ago I posted this short video. Now this video got 8 million views in total. So we had 6.5 million views over on Instagram and 1.5 million views on YouTube. I think the main reason for this going viral is the commenting that happened on there. Some of them not so good, some of them good. It's a little bit controversial. We'll take a quick look at some of them now. So we've got this one, look up span tables. Did look up the span tables, said that you need to support a 4x2 decking every 1.7 meters, I think it was, and I supported them every 1 meter. So thanks for bringing that to my attention, but I'd already done the work. Cheers. And then we've got Joshua, you spent so much dollars, you robbed the client. Well, we did actually do the cheapest way that we could find to do it and the most effective, but thanks for your comment anyway. Oh, we've got Stormbringer here, perhaps frame it right from the start. Danton, Alex, would be easier just to put offcuts of 4x2 by the side to stop any bounce, and wrap in DPC if you're worried about the ends rotting. I don't quite like to do it this way. I think that the DPC at the bottom can actually hold the water to the bottom of the post or the upright that you've put in, but thanks anyway, sensible comment, cheers. And we've got SJP Joinery. I've never seen that way of doing it before, or it's good to see other ways of doing things. Can I ask why you did this way and not by packing underneath? I feel when you pack the underneath a joist, no matter what you pack them with, they either hold water or they draw the water up from the floor into the decking. So it's just my answer. This way was the way I decided to do it. So now we're going to take a look at the full video. Hope you enjoy it. Comment your thoughts below if you want to. Keep it nice. I don't tolerate rude people on here. If you're going to be rude, then your comment will be removed. But if it's logical, if you're just trying to have a discussion about it, leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Enjoy the video. If you haven't followed my Instagram yet, then get over there and give me a follow on there. It helps me out massively. If you want to support the channel, all you got to do is just like and comment, share it, just engage with the video as much as possible. YouTube love that and they'll share my video with more people. Happy New Year to you all anyway, and I'll see you in 2023 for some more videos, and hopefully we're going to grow the channel massively. So yeah, just keep watching for me and tell a mate about it. Thanks very much. Right, so we've joined in sort of just after I've done some of the work. I didn't want to show you the whole thing. I didn't actually manage to film the whole thing because I had help on the end of the last day before this one. I didn't want to waste that help because it's obviously paid for, and it's far too valuable for me to then be setting up a camera and you know, wasting time. So what you can see there in the background on that black wall, I've actually screwed a bit of 4x2 as a wall plate to the wall using brown plugs and 80mm screws, possibly 100mm screws, and also yeah, they are 100mm screws, also plastic spacers down the back of the 4x2 there, just to stop the water from the wall tracking into the side of the wood. All of the wood is treated, it's all 4x2 treated. The reason I use the 4x2 is because of the height of that wall. The neighbour's ground is higher, so what I didn't want to do is create a decking that's so high that we end up just looking into the neighbour's garden, and vice versa really. I didn't want the head level to be high so that the neighbour would just see lots of bobbing heads when this guy's got some people on his decking. So I had that to consider. Yes, one of the options was to gun out all of the concrete below it so that I could put some thicker timbers in. However, once we priced this up and also priced up all of the material to get rid of, there was quite a lot to consider, and the price was way over budget. So we decided not to go for that route. This method that I used, which was obviously in the short video that you saw at the beginning, was the cheapest, most viable option that we could see, really. I had seen this method used before by Garden Buildings Company. They use sort of stilts with a sort of U bracket that holds the bottom of the timber, but I just adapted it a little bit to make it cheaper for the customer. I used a 50mm by 3mm washer. I also used M12 rod on the bits of 4x2. If you can see down the front there near where I'm standing, there is a bit of 6x2 that I used just for that long floating edge, because I felt like I needed a bit more strength there. So I actually used 6x2 to span across that whole thing. I then used some M16 rod in there to hold that bit of 6x2 strong. There's absolutely zero flex in it. It was the strongest bit of timber. I know a lot of the people in the comments have been worried about me drilling through the timber and jeopardising the strength of it. However, in my opinion, drilling vertically through them doesn't really jeopardise the strength, as long as that hole is then fully supported. If you're going to drill through one and then just leave it unsupported, fair play, that would jeopardise the strength of it. But if you're actually filling that hole with something else, and it's a tight fit, I can't see where any of that strength is then going to be lost. I'm possibly wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm also not saying this is the perfect way of doing it. But anyway, you've seen me build the frame there. I'm now doing the noggins. I measure all of my wood, whether it's a stud wall or a decking. Just measure it so that you've got about 600mm offcut on all of your pieces, and then you've got your noggins there without chopping up long bits. I hate chopping up long bits of wood just to do noggins. Something doesn't quite seem right about that, because it can be used for something different. So what you can see there with noggins, I just start the first one off by getting 2 or 3 nails in the ends, and then I start the second one off by putting 2 nails on the skew. It goes quite nicely that way. It means that you don't have to stagger them. I don't really like staggering them. I never like staggering noggins. I don't know why. Just something I'm not keen on. So this is the start of the process here, where I'm just going through with the M12. I'll go through with a 12mm drill bit, and I'm only going about an inch into the concrete there at the bottom, and all that's going to stop it doing really is just deflecting. What I didn't want to happen is that these rods are going to skip about on this concrete at all. So it's not to hold it solid or anything like that, it's just to stop them skipping. It's to give them a location really, and make sure that that location stays fixed. If any of the timber is thinking about bending in the heat, then obviously that isn't going to go anywhere. So what I actually did with this, and what most people do, which again is a little bit controversial, but what most people do with a floor joist is to check out the bow of the timber, which you might have seen me do at the beginning of the video there. You check out the bow of the timber, and you would usually put the bow of the timber to the top, so that, you know, any weight that then goes on top of it then straightens it out. But on this, what I did is I checked the bow, and it was very minimal, but I pointed the bow downwards, because then this rod system, where I've got the washer at the top just underneath the wood and the washer just on top of the concrete, I can then use them 2 bolts, use the 2 nuts to then adjust it very slightly. And what I was able to do was to twist the top nut up so much that it actually took the slight bow out of the timber, so they were under a tiny bit of pressure, which really helped with locking in the nuts as well. And then once the nuts were screwed tight and in their final position, And I gave them a couple of days, waited for the timber to dry out, do any sorting out or any movement that it wanted to do, and then I locked them in with a bit of Chemfix. I just put a bit of Chemfix on the thread. You can get Loctite nuts, but they're not the easiest things to do with a job like this, where you want to go sort of finger tight with a few of them and you want to adjust some of them. So yeah, I could have used the Loctite ones, but I just decided this method might be better. Excuse the legs at this point, I am of ginger complexity. It might be offensive to some people, but I'm stuck with them, so sorry about that. So you can see me here just putting some Chemfix in the holes. Again, I could have cut all of these to length, but they were slightly different lengths to all of them. Another comment I got quite a lot was that there was quite a gap under the 4x2, so I could have used 6x2. However, at some points, especially over in that back left corner of the screen now, there was only about an inch under it, so I didn't, you know, that was the reasoning for the 4x2. I didn't want to come too close to that concrete slab there, because I know how wood just draws water up. It doesn't even need to be touching it. It will just draw it up and rot it out eventually. But you can see me just feeding down that rod there. At this point I hadn't actually worked out a quick way to do it, and I was thinking to myself it's going to take ages, but in the short video at the beginning of this video, that was the quick version that I managed to do. Anyway, like I said, if you've got any comments to make on this one, then please do. I'm open to suggestions. I'm not one of them builders that just says this is the way. I think there's tons of different ways to milk a cow. This is one of them. This is how I milked my cow, and it worked. The customer was happy. I'll stand by it. It's the strongest decking I've ever built, and I would park my van on it. And I'll tell you what, if I get enough people comment on this one to say that it's not the right way to do it, I'm just going to build it again and park my van on it. There's a challenge for you. Make this video go viral, and I'll build a deck in and park my van on it. As you can see there, I've done the two nuts, I've adjusted it up, and then all I was doing then is just cutting the excess rod off of the top. Now I could have gone completely belt and braces, recessed another nut into the top there, just to screw down and hold all of the joist in place, but there's so much weight going on top of this, I wasn't worried about anything picking up. I was more so worried about things sinking down. It's just smoothing off the end of the rod there, ready to take the next nut. You can see I've got my safety squint on. But yeah, if any of you have got any questions, or you want to discuss this method, or you want to try and give me something to think about, then go for it. I'll listen to everyone. So I just basically repeated the process over and over again until all of the decking was nice and strong, and that was this part of the decking done. Right, so there it is, people. Thanks for watching another episode of Built by Ben. Keep tuned for more episodes. I'm trying to chuck them out as fast as I can, but the newborn and other things in our life right now are taking up a lot of my time. So bear with me. In 2023, I'm going to try and post a lot more regularly. I'm going to try and get one out a week. Obviously, that always depends on what jobs I'm doing and if the customer is comfortable with me filming it. So thanks for your support, and I'll see you on the next one.